Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. I am with the one and the only Deniz Yusuf. This is the Top Growth Podcast Show. Our first episode, Dennis, for 2026. I know we don't like to date these podcasts, but of course, the Lead Machine Secrets book has been out now for a good 3 months now, Dennis. Actually, for 2.5 months. What's the sort of some of the feedback you've been getting with the book? Everyone, of course, this is 28 ways to grow without relying on salespeople and how to attract warm leads, which means owners are happy to pay your fees. So, Dennis, what are some of the feedback you're getting?
I actually was talking to someone yesterday, Sunday, would you believe? It was just over a message, and they'd received the book last week, and they said they can't put it down. Like they'd already read it once, and it woke their brain up. So, which is exciting from a coach's point of view. When someone says that they can't sleep because of it, it means their brain is ticking over. So
Mm.
I was really excited about it. And then I had a call this morning. I did a Zoom with a gentleman that's starting up their business, and they're going, I can't put your book down. I said, which one? They said, the PM Lead Secrets. I said, dude, that's the old one. You need to get the new one.
That's out of print now. That's right. It's all out of print. That was 2,000 books out of print. This one we printed 4,000 books. Everyone, get yourself a copy. This is the most detailed, the deepest rent roll growth book that's ever been written on the planet, Dennis. And congratulations, it's all your experience. And all we did, everyone, is Dennis and I sat down and we did all these videos, and Dennis just poured out all of his experience and all of his expertise, and we captured it into the book. So make sure you get it. Just go to leadmachinesecrets.com. Look, we're going to give you the book. All you got to do is pay for shipping. That's a really good investment for you. And the book will come out to you. Now, Dennis, today we're doing another strategy out of the book, another
Yep.
secret out of the book. And everyone, this is a real no-brainer, particularly if you already have clients, because you may not know, some may already have properties that you're not aware of. They may actually be with your competitor. And two, they know people that have got property as well, because they're in the Facebook groups and they're in property investor clubs and groups and all of that stuff, and they're in contact with people just like them.
Yeah.
You want to find out a way to get their details, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. So we're actually referring to strategy number 8 in the book, Dennis, generating more leads from existing clients, which everyone's on page 103. So Dennis, firstly, starting off is meaningful conversations with clients. That's step one.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like you've got to set out a plan when you're giving them a call. You don't just give them a call to say, "Can you refer more business to me?" or "Can you do this? Can you do that?" You've got to be engaging with them and having a meaningful conversation with them. There's always, like, we call it a no reason call, but there's a purpose for these calls. And especially at the beginning of the year. And yes, we've predated this podcast show by saying it's the beginning of 2026. It's by far not our first video we've done or recording, but it is for a podcast. And there's a really good reason to want to be giving them calls at the beginning of the year. But you've got to have an in-depth conversation. You've got to have a meaningful conversation. Unlike every other call that they're getting from your office, it's always due to what, Darren? Arrears, tenants moving out,
Bad news. It's
maintenance.
bad news, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's negative.
So we're now opening the door so we can have a positive experience, because the reason why you should be making these calls to your owners is A, staying top of mind. We've chased them for the business. We've worked really hard at getting the business, and you're calling, you're following up where you should be. And then you get the business. Now you've got to keep building that relationship. So that's where it's important to have a meaningful discussion with them.
Okay. Well, Dennis, on the next page, 104, you've got a script there. And everyone, we've got over 100 scripts in the book. Okay.
Yeah.
They're excellent scripts, very, very easy to follow. Dennis, can you just share that one with our listeners?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So, it's where you're giving them a call and you're basically just saying, so as it says, it's got script. This book doesn't just explain strategies. We're actually giving you the go-tos. We're actually giving you the instruction and the steps to follow. So I'm going to read it straight from the book. So, hi Darren, it's Dennis here from IGT Realty. I just wanted to check in and see how everything is going and ask if there's anything that we are doing that we could be doing better or differently for you. Now, Darren, one of the things Michael Sands says it all the time, if you're not educating your landlords, somebody else is. If you're not calling your current clients, somebody else is. So that's why one of the reasons why it's important. Now, while rival agencies are calling your clients trying to poach them, they're also selling their services to them. They might be saying things, oh, we'll do this for you. And they may not even know that you already do that. So that's why it's really good to give them a call and say, hey, is there anything that we're not doing for you that you think we should be doing, or is there something we could be doing better? So, you could be bringing up things that you're not doing. So better you find out by making the call than getting a phone call saying, I'm leaving you.
Now, Dennis, we've actually done training and listed out 25 conversation starters. Now, guys, if you want to get that, what the conversation starters are, just reach out to Dennis, just book into his diary at growmyrentroll.com and have a chat to him about that. But Dennis, you've got some information about conversation starters, but what are some tips that you can give? Because we haven't listed the 25 here, but what are some of the tips that you can give around conversation starters?
Well, I want to talk about the most important one for this time of the year, right? Now, when we sign a potential landlord up, Darren, we're explaining what's going to happen over the next 12 months. We'll start marketing for you. We'll do the leasing. We'll go through those processes. We do an ingoing or a condition report, and then we, the tenant moves in, and then we'll do a routine, and then at the end of the lease, we'll contact you. Do you still want the tenant? What rent it should be, etc. So you actually sell them at the beginning. So right now is a really good time to do a reset. So you could actually be calling your owners in the month of January, in the month of February, and saying, what are your plans over the next 12 months? This is what we plan to be doing. But have you considered, is there anything that you're considering? They may say, you know what, we're actually considering selling the property, or we're looking at buying another property. Now, you know how, in the book, Darren, in the book, we talk about strategic alliances. We talk about all of the works in there where you're then opening the door to find out what your potential landlords or your current landlords are doing, and you can refer that business on. It's really important to stay in front. So you could do a reset. This is what we're planning on doing over the next 12 months. Your tenants at this is what the rents are doing, etc. Have you thought about what your plans are? It could be a financial health check. There's so many things you could do just in that first initial thing. It's a touch base, it's staying top of mind, and you're being proactive with your landlords as well. So that to me, that's the first one.
All right, well, let's go to step 2, Dennis, establishing a consistent contact plan.
Yeah. Okay. The contact plan could be that, for example, you might want to call them in 3 months' time, right? And you don't call them for the same reason. It could be something different altogether. And then you'll call them again maybe at the 6 months, 9 months, and then 12 months. That could be on their anniversaries. It could be around their birthdays, whatever the case is. It's saying, the key to success is staying consistent, right? You want them to see you on the socials. You want them to hear from you. You want all of that top of mind. So you're turning your clients into raving fans. Consistency.
So, Dennis, in the book, we've actually, if you wouldn't mind, we got listed first call,
Yep.
what's an example, second call, what's an example, and this is, of course, establishing a contact plan. Can you just give the example out of the book
Yeah.
here
So the
on the 5 calls there?
first call could be a casual hello. I'm just giving you a call to say hello, just to check in, see how things are going. Just a simple hello. The second one is a touch point around, it could be a legislation change that's happening that you've heard about, that you know is coming up, and you're updating them, because when you first sign the landlord up, you're telling them about what's happening there and then. There's a timeline. In 6 months, 18 months, there's a new timeline. So the third call could be a greeting. no doubt there's going to be a holiday. There's so many holidays. There is so many holidays. Each state has a Labor Day. Each state has a King's holiday in Australia and New Zealand. Everyone does it differently. The fourth call could be, something around a hobby that they like, or could be flights, or they like going on cruises, and you're keeping updated on cheap flights. I mean, I always see, for example, you can fly to Manila from Sydney for $289. How cheap is that, Darren? You fly to Manila. How cheap is
You know,
200
that's very cheap, because I know a round trip's about $700 or $800. So,
plus some,
mm.
right? You can get it for 700 or 800, but $289 is very, very cheap, right? So that's an example of you calling, and if it's a hobby or it's related, it could be around their work. The fifth call, it could be something as easy as, I drove past your rental property the other day. I was thinking of you. I thought I'd check in. The lawns look good, or whatever the case. It could be just a simple check in again. There is so many other reasons why you could call, but there's an example of 5 calls that you could be doing over a 12-month period.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's move to step 3, Dennis, and asking for referrals and finding new business opportunities. So show me the money. Let's just talk about how people doing this activity, from strategy 8 in the book, Everyone Lead Machine Secrets. Let's just talk about how we can actually convert these calls now into money.
Yeah, well, you don't. I see that people make the mistake straight away when they're calling the owners and they're asking for something straight away. You've got to win them. Just because you've signed them up doesn't mean they've got 1,000% trust with you. Doesn't mean you're a raving fan. Especially if you're a new BDM working for a new office, they don't know you. You've got to build your own trust with them. You don't know if they're happy with it. So that's why it's important to have those couple of touch points first. But it gets to a point where you now need to actually say to them, obviously you say in conversation, hey, if anyone talks about real estate, please keep it top of mind. That could be how you're closing your call out. But there's a couple of ways that you can actually ask for a referral. One could be, hey, Darren, as you know, my job is helping educate potential landlords on why they should use our company. I would love for you to get some kind words, or if you would refer one client to me over the next 12 months that is considering. So I'm asking you for a referral. Or I could even twist it to say, same beginning, but you're saying, I would love for you to keep an eye out if someone brings up real estate. If you would be able to obviously if you could bring up my name, number, I'd love to have that conversation with them, But
Okay, Dennis,
the
on
script look
page
good?
106, you've got a script. All right,
Yep.
let's just, if you want to just give out the script.
Yep. As you know, my job is educating people on why to use our services and to bring on new clients. So I would love to ask you a favor. So you're getting in personal with them, right? It's emotion. Over the next 12 months, would you be able to refer me just one client? We'd be thrilled to assist anyone needing a reliable property manager, right?
So it's just asking. That's being confident,
Yep,
isn't it, Dennis? A bit like closing, asking for the business. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's
yep.
just being upfront. If you've got the trust, why not be upfront?
And Darren, it blows me away how many times I speak to BDMs and property managers when they find out one of their own landlords has got another property. So at this point, you could actually say, do you know anyone, or do you own another investment property that we could help you with? Right? It's
Hmm.
simply asking. If you don't ask, you don't know.
Okay, let's talk about step 4, of using offers and incentives, because you're going to need to give them some type of offer. And people are already thinking, Dennis, oh my goodness me, I'm going to have to give a massive discount or whatever. But what do you recommend from the book?
Well, don't drop your fees. Don't give them 3 months of complimentary management if they refer a client to you. That's what you don't do. You've got to look at what's high value to the client and low cost to you. So, for example, I love going to the movies. There is nothing better than going to the movies. When I'm watching TV, I'm still scrolling on social media. When I go to the movies, right, I give the movie full focus. I'm not on my phone. That's high value to me. It's a no dead brain space. So if someone bought me movie tickets, I'd be happy. That's high value. And what is it? $20 for a ticket, right? If someone's referring you a business, that's 2.5 to 3.5 plus $1,000 a year. $20 is pretty valuable, right? That return on investment is there. It could be that.
Dennis, before we go on, I think people need to understand if you've got a good relationship with the client, they're more than happy to refer you business
Mhm.
and not expect payment. All right. But if you're able to offer them something like that, but yeah, I think that's a really good, a really good gesture.
You could even put a time frame on it, Darren. Anyone that's referring business to me in the month of January, they're going to get tickets too, right? To a movie or a theatre. It could be whatever. So, another really good one is hampers. Hampers are really good. I'd be utilizing local business for my hampers. I wouldn't be giving it to the big companies. Utilize your local community. It's really
Mm,
a key
mm,
in that. And then you ask permission of those local community businesses as well.
mm.
Unique experiences are good as well. It could be, like you live in Sydney, someone might love, they've never done it, but they'd like to do the harbour walk or something. That's an emotional experience that they would love.
Yeah, no, that's cool. All right, well, let's just keep on moving on. Again, everyone, we're reading straight from the book. If you're taking notes or thinking you need to take notes, please don't. Just go to leadmachinesecrets.com, order the book. All you got to do is pay for shipping, and we'll get it across to you. Okay, it's a really good book. Now, Dennis, you've also got a script there. If you can just share that, please.
Is this the one, if you refer a client to bring another property under
That's it.
management?
That's it.
If you refer a client to bring another property under our management by the end of this month, we'd love to offer you. And that's that example that I was just talking about. But Darren, what about if they sell, right? If the owner sells, you can also say, hey Darren, well done. It's been great managing your property over the last 3 to 4 years. I'm sorry to leave, but you know what? You now owe me a property. You need to now refer. I've got to replace your property under management. So I would love for you to, and that's still having a relationship, right?
Mm,
And you can do
mm.
that as well.
So just a big thank you as well. We've got a section here in the book at the end of this strategy, at the end of this chapter from Shadi Salapur,
Mhm.
who really shares her results of putting this strategy into place as well. If you don't know, Shadi is one of the leading property managers in New Zealand. Of course, these strategies work anywhere. And we've even had people, Dennis, grab the book from other industries that got nothing to do with real estate that look at these and go, wow, I can directly apply them to me. So it's a great book. I'd really encourage you to get that. But also, everyone, be part of our mastermind sessions. We are going through 12 core trainings this year in depth. One of them is calling current clients. And we want you to be part of Mastermind, but it's there every 2 weeks. Is a Zoom coaching session with other like-minded people like yourself that are really wanting serious rent roll growth. I just encourage you to book into Dennis's diary to have a chat. Dennis, what's the link?
The link to have a discovery call with me, I would just go to growmyrentroll.com.
So growmyrentroll.com. Can't be any easier than that. But guys, come and join our group coaching as well and be part of that. There is other masterminds going on as well, which is a BDM coach mastermind, which teaches BDM skills. The top growth mastermind is very much about rent roll growth strategies, because that's what we focus in the top growth podcast show. Of course, go and check out the BDM coach podcast show as well, where Dennis, the master, goes right into the skills that quality top BDMs need. So, Dennis, another great episode to put to the catalog.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. And we really enjoy doing these sessions. You know that we're not going to give you fluff and puff. We're not going to give you empty motivation. We're not interested in giving you or feeding you tofu when you're after meat. And we give you the real meaty teaching. That's what you're always going to get in these sessions. So thanks, everyone. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay.